and welcome to my workshop. Today I have a fun upcycle for you. Actually, it wasn't very fun. It was a lot of work for a little tiny project. I wanted to make some coasters for my trailer to put drinks on, and I thought about just buying the wooden slices. You can find them on Amazon, and making coasters out of those. But when I was at the thrift store the other day, I found the vintage, I think 1970s, 1980s little box of the coasters that you pull out. They look like little trays, and I thought, I'll upcycle that, and that'll be great. 2 blisters later, trying to peel off cork and trying to paint those little coasters, what a lot of work it was. It looks fabulous, but next time I'm just going to buy the wooden slices when I want coasters. So today I'm going to show you how I did it, step-by-step tutorial, and I hope you enjoy it. If you like thrifting, DIYs, and repurposing, you've come to the right place, and we'd love to have you follow along, so make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any great content. And I'll put the link below for my Facebook and Instagram because I'm putting a lot of content over there every day of stuff that I'm doing that I don't always make videos on. And I'd love to have you follow along over there. Okay, I'm going to show you how I did this. Let's get started. Okay, here's the box of coasters, and there's 8 of them, and they pull out, and it looks like a little chest of drawers. It was $1.99 at Value Village, and I'm going to upcycle these. The first thing I'm going to do is try to scrape all of this cork out of the middle, and it is stuck in there, like really stuck. So I'm going to be a while here scraping this out with this little putty knife. The cork wasn't in very good shape on any of them. The corners was kind of lifting a bit, so I thought it would be easy just to peel them off, that the glue probably wasn't that great, but I was mistaken. They are glued down really well. So I'm going to scrape away, and then probably going to have to sand them out and before I start to prep them. And this is what it looks like partially scraped off. How do I get myself into these projects? After about an hour of scraping, I've got a blister. Okay, I've got them all scraped out as much as I can, and now I'm going to take a little bit of sandpaper and try to smooth it all out before I paint it. I'm just using an 80 grit sandpaper and just going around the whole circle on the inside, trying to get out all the little bits and pieces of leftover cork that I couldn't scrape. I always see these little sets of coasters at the thrift store, and I've never bought one before, but I've always had the idea of kind of what I would like to do with one in my head. So if you have lots of patience, pick one up, give it a try. I've watched lots of DIY videos here on YouTube, and you sometimes don't see the behind the scenes on how they get the finished product and how much work it actually really was. This little coaster set is proving to be a lot of work. I think at one time there must have been a little handle on top of this because the little screw-in beads have little holes on the inside, so I'm going to remove those with a pair of pliers, and they just look like they just unscrew, and I'm just going to scrape off the tag here first and then take the little screws out. I filled the 2 little holes with a little bit of wood filler, and I'm just going to sand them off with a 60 grit block just to make it flush with the wood. There was also a little hole in each one of the coasters, probably where it was attached to the lathe, so I'm going to take a little bit of wood filler and fill in those little holes too.
and then just sand it down smooth. Finally, ready to paint, and I'm going to use this Trim Clad Rust Matte Black and just give it a good coat all over all of the coasters and the little holder. You can use any black spray paint. This is just one that I had in my workshop, so it's the first one that I grabbed, but I do like the matte. Now ready to paint it with my white homemade chalk paint. I'll put a link in the description for the recipe for it. It works great. This actually, I'm probably going to put 2, maybe 3 coats on it to get it covered properly on the coasters and the little container. Okay, that took 3 coats of the chalk paint, and now I'm going to sand all the corners down wherever it would naturally kind of wear off and give it a real rustic look. Okay, all finished. What a bugger, but it's done and they look beautiful. Now for the graphics. I made these graphics in PicMonkey. I actually went to Pinterest for some inspiration for some sayings that I wanted to put on them. I designed them on PicMonkey, put them into my Word program, reversed them, and now I'm ready to cut them out to fit on the insides of the coasters. If you go to my DIY playlist, I'll link it below. I have lots of videos on how I make my graphics, and you can get some tips there to create your own stuff. Okay, got them all cut out, and now we're ready to put them on. I'm using this decoupage mat from DecoArt. It's the same as Mod Podge, and I have had really good results with it. And I'm just going to take my little paintbrush and put a really thin coat on each graphic, and then center it on the coaster and press it down really well. Get all the wrinkles, all the little air bubbles out of it. And once I get all these coasters and the little graphic put on the top, I'm going to let it sit for 24 hours and make sure it really dries thoroughly. Okay, I'm going to take a damp rag and just lightly dampen the graphics and then rub all the paper away so the graphic stays on the coaster. Again, if you go back to my playlist, my DIY playlist, I have quite a few videos there that shows you in depth how I do these graphics, and you can go back and check that out. This takes a little bit of patience, and just the trick is not to make it too wet. You just want to dampen it just enough so the paper rubs off, and just gently with your fingertips just rub away until all of the graphics are exposed and all the paper is gone. This was also a big job because there were so many corners to rub all that paper off, but once I got them all off, they looked fabulous. Okay, now we're ready to seal them up, and I'm going to use this Krylon lacquer, and it's going to work really well to seal up the coasters for durability when you put a wet glass on them. I sprayed on 3 coats of this lacquer, and I felt that that was probably enough for this project to seal them up well. Finally finished. Sip and repeat. Good to the last drop. And cheers. Bottoms up. On wine, on cloud wine. Wine o'clock. Coffee and chill. Make it a double. And the top, drinks on me. All finished, and I love it. It looks great down at my trailer, and it's already in use. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial, and I'd love if you like, subscribe, and followed along. Have a great day.